going to start by putting a 2 to 3 millimeter tungsten bead onto a 1 to 2x long nymph hook. The easy way to do this is by putting the bead in your hand and bringing the hook point to it. Traditionally, these are tied with jig hooks and slotted beads, but they work just fine like this as well. The hook I chose is a TMC 3761 in size 16, and put some .010 size lead wire in a bobbin holder and wind on 10 to 14 wraps. Then push the lead wire up into the bead to stabilize it. The thread I'm using is Vivus 10-aught in red, and you do want a bright colored thread like this to make a hot spot. Cover over the lead wraps with your thread, and create a taper on the hook before bringing your thread back to the bend of the hook. Now pull off 3 to 6 strands of pheasant tail fibers. The quantity of the strands will depend on your hook size. Pull the fibers parallel to the feather's spine and stroke them up to align the tips. Then clip them off at the base. Now measure out a hook shank length and tie in at the base of the hook. If you need, you can adjust the length of the tail slightly, but be careful doing so. After making a few tight wraps, then attach some small size gold wire. Then pull back the pheasant tail and tie it in at the base of the tail. And then bring your thread up to just shy of the bead. Now proceed to wrap your pheasant tail up the hook shank with touching wraps. Once you reach just shy of the bead, about a hook eye size space, then capture the fibers and trim off the waist. Now we will proceed to make even and spaced wraps with your gold wire over the pheasant tail body. Wrap this in the opposite direction of the pheasant tail fibers to make the fly much more durable. Then capture the wire once you reach where the pheasant tail ends, and helicopter it off. Pull out a small amount of ice dub in a bright color. I like this UV shrimp pink, but use whatever color you want. Then I like to break the fibers in half to make it easier to dub them onto my thread. Again, use very little of this stuff. Dub this onto your thread with a thin and tight noodle. Then proceed to create a collar on your fly with the dubbing, and try to wrap this on as even and smooth as possible. Make a few excess wraps behind the cone before whip finishing. So I like to make sure there is a pronounced red collar behind the bead. And I also like these to be very durable, so I paint some head cement on the thread before whip finishing again. And if the collar is not thick enough still, I make even another whip finish. Okay, now your fly is finished. These are flashy and attract the fish very well in many shades of water clarity. They're also much easier than the traditional pheasant tail to tie, and in my opinion just as, if not more effective. Here's a fish I caught with this fly on my last trip to the Animas. Hey, thanks for watching everyone. Check the description section for a list of materials I used today. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.